All right, guys. In against a Portland Trailblazers team that didn't have a lot of guys going. Let's talk about it. It's the Hoops Nerd Show. Okay, guys. Before we get started, before we say anything, and we'll talk about the Blazers first, then the Jazz. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to this video, to the channel. If you'd like to be a part of the live chat during these videos, make sure that you join the channel. I would really appreciate it. I'm wanting this channel to grow, and I need your help. And so if you're new here, please just give a like and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. And if you're a Jazz fan and you haven't already, this is the best place to be for Jazz fans. So make sure and do that right now. All right, let's talk about the Portland Trailblazers a little bit first. There's not a ton to say. Let's see. Let's turn this on, and then let's just get started. Talking about the Portland Trailblazers, they were able to play Nasir Little tonight. That's like one of the small little benefits of having so many guys out. CJ McCollum has the collapsed lung, and Nurkic was out. I can't even remember why. It was some sort of injury or something, or maybe it's COVID protocols. I don't know. Guys, let me know in the comments. I don't have time to look it up. But anyways, those guys weren't playing. And so we got a good look at Damian Lillard, who just really struggled against this Jazz team. I haven't watched the Blazers recently because they're depressing as could be. You know what? He just hasn't really had a very good year, and his body language is terrible. It's clear things are just not going great in Portland. It's kind of the season from hell for them. They don't, if I'm a Portland fan, I don't know what I'm doing to get out of this situation, or just in terms of just how much you're enjoying this team. It's very clear, they either need to weather the storm with this stuff, but they don't even have their coach. Chauncey Billups is out with COVID protocols. So they don't even have their head coach playing right now. They have Damian Lillard, who's had an off year, and he's been struggling. I mean, he was struggling in the Olympics, and so now he's struggling during the regular season. It's rough stuff for the Portland Trailblazers. Tonight, Damian Lillard, as we can see, 10 for 23, 5 for 14 from three. So he was putting them up. That's 35%, but not quite good enough when you consider just how bad the Portland defense is. 7 for 10 from the free throw line. 32 points for Dame. It's actually a sneaky 32 points. I didn't realize it was that many. Felt like he just wasn't impacting it as much as you would think, but he obviously was getting his points up. And Norman Powell really was the story of this game. He was just lighting it up. He was really the reason why this game was even remotely close. 11 for 23, 4 for 9 from 3, 6 for 6 from the free throw line. Just a really nice game for him. You guys all know my love for Larry Nance. Tonight's game really, he's not going to be great when he's playing center and having to go against Rudy Gobert. I was watching him just because, you guys know how much I love him. This should be up to like the 4 to 6 range for him, for if you're a Blazers fan, because he can shoot the ball. He took 2 free throws and missed 1, but 9 rebounds, 9 assists. This is what makes me so, this is why I love Larry Nance and why I do think the Jazz need to try to figure out a way to get him on the Jazz. You'll watch him play, and he is one of the most unselfish players in the league. Unbelievable. He is consistently just trying to find guys, and this 9 assists is no coincidence. He really, really finds those guys. So tonight, Larry Nance, 14 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists, a near triple-double for Larry Nance. Did anyone realize he was doing so well? Probably not. When he was playing center against Rudy Gobert, that's just tough because, Larry Nance is not a big body. He's not a rim protecting center. He's more of a perimeter. He's got athleticism and he can block the occasional shot, but he's definitely not like a rim protector. That's why if he played for the Jazz, he would probably likely more be kind of like a athletic 4. And when you consider how he moves this ball and how he's shot like 36% from 3 for multiple years in the past, his time with the Cavs was fantastic. He's a guy I would love on the Jazz. And then just the rebounding. This guy is just, you guys know what I mean. I love this guy. I wish he was on the Jazz. I covet him. I'm breaking a commandment. I covet him. But Robert Hall, talking about the Blazers, need to trade Damian and rebuild. I agree, Robert Hall of Fame. Well, the thing is, if you're the Blazers and you trade Dame, you better get something. He's the best Blazer in the history of he's the best player in the history of the franchise. So if you're trading him, it's like trading John Stockton, near the end. And that's painful. Like, is that something you want to do if you're a Blazers fan? I don't know. As long as you can get something back, the trade everyone mentions is Ben Simmons. And that guy, the fact he hasn't been traded already kind of tells you, uh, all right, I mean, does anyone in the league really want Ben Simmons that bad? Do you really want a guy who doesn't want to play to replace the most important player in your franchise's history? Oof, that's a rough sell to fans. And honestly, so much of what teams do is you tank and you do all these things so you can get a player like Damian Lillard. So trading him you shouldn't do lightly. That's not something they should take very lightly at all. For the Jazz, let's talk about Utah. Rudy Gobert was the story of this game. He was utterly dominant. I mean, the beginning of the game, the Jazz go up by like 14-2 or 16-2 or something like that. And it was behind Rudy Gobert just punishing them inside. So the Blazers were just switching everything on the Jazz. And it was leaving like Anthony Simons and Damian Lillard and any number of like smaller Blazer guards. And Rudy Gobert was punishing him at the rim. And this was actually a really good sign for the Jazz because we know what happened in the playoffs with the Blazers where Rudy was not able to punish those smaller guys. You saw it tonight that Rudy could do it, and he did it a lot. And it's not always like the first shot he took was that hook shot with the left hand, and he missed it, and I hated it. It's like Rudy just needs to go over top of these guys and dunk it. And if they foul him, great. Rudy's a good free throw shooter. Rudy just needs to go harder to the basket in those situations, but tonight he did a good job. I mean, you can see he obviously was fantastic. 8 for 10 from the field. One of those misses with that hook shot we just mentioned. 22 points, 14 rebounds, just 2 fouls, and he was 50% from the free throw line. Rudy was just amazing. The free throws weren't falling tonight at quite the right rate, but 5 offensive rebounds, that's beast mode. So Rudy Gobert was fantastic. It was really, really good. Let's see. Joe Ingles' defense continues to be putrid. This plus minus is kind of interesting. Plus 25. 3 assists, 3 rebounds, 1 for 3 from the field. Plus 25. This is right here what you should show when people like me, analysis people, talk about plus minus because his defense was not good. I mean, he does bring one thing that Joe brings is size, which is nice. And it's one of the reasons I think, honestly, when, the Jazz tend to win a lot of games when either Donovan or Conley is sitting. Quinn, robotically will always play Joe Ingles. And then what happens is the Jazz are bigger. It's one of those things that, if the Jazz could just bring some size, you can see kind of the benefits of that. Just being bigger helps your team. It just does. Mountain Hobbler, glad the Jazz got the W, but that game felt like it lasted forever. Yeah, it was like, in the movie when you know the ending and someone gives you a spoiler, that's what that felt like. At no point did it ever feel like the Jazz weren't going to win this game. Like, was anyone worried or nervous? No. Mike Conley continues to be fantastic. The 3-point shot wasn't falling tonight, surprisingly, but 6 assists, 15 points, and just controlling the offense while Donovan Mitchell's out. So great stuff from Mike Conley. Such an awesome pickup. And then Hassan Whiteside had a big night too. And he was able to punish the Blazers' size disadvantage all night as well. 6 for 9 from the field. Nice. And then 3 for 7 from the free throw line, 11 rebounds, 15 points. Just monster stuff from Hassan. Allows Rudy Gobert to just play 28 minutes and Hassan at 20. That's interesting. Mike Conley plays 30. That's likely because Donovan Mitchell is out. And we saw, and this was the thing, I don't understand why it's at this point. Trent Forrest plays 17 minutes. He scores 4 points, has 2 assists. Did anyone, and you guys can tell me in the chat, at any point, was anyone worried the Jazz weren't going to win this game? At any point? The Blazers could not do anything to stop the Jazz tonight. Utah actually struggled to shoot from 3, and they just blew them out by 15. It was never in question, and they shot the ball poorly from 3. This game could have been like a 30-point blowout if the Jazz just shoot a higher percentage from 3. And then, let's see. Just from the field, you can see it was just Rudy and Hassan dominating inside, and Mike and Joe and them setting them up. Let's see, 5 assists for Jordan Clarkson. Can we just give props to Jordan Clarkson? Let's do this. Let's just do it again. It's time for the Jordan Clarkson is improving and up and evolving right before our eyes every night. 5 assists, second leading assist guy on the Jazz tonight. And it's not a surprise. Here, let's pull this up. And let's just watch him for fun. So here we go. Pick and roll for Jordan Clarkson. Did you ever think that... Oh, my gosh. All right. Can we pull this back? First off, did you ever think the Jazz were going to be having pick and rolls with Jordan Clarkson running them? I personally did not. And then having multiple pass options and getting open threes. So watch this. Jordan Clarkson gets the pick and roll from Hassan. Hassan rolls. So look, he's got 3 options here. And this is good pick and roll play. He's got Rudy Gay in the corner. He's got the rolling Hassan Whiteside, both good options, and then Joe Ingles out here being chubby. All right, so let's watch this. He goes, picks the corner 3. Boom. Money. Fantastic pick and roll play from Jordan Clarkson. Just great. I just never thought we'd see him doing this. All right, here we go. This is Jordan Clarkson in isolation. Simple pass to Bojan Bogdanovic. 2 dribbles, 3. That's a generous assist. But hey, you'll take it. This is transition. Obviously going to Jordan Clarkson in the corner. Doesn't take the bad shot and gets this nice dump off to Hassan. That's just nice basketball. And that's unselfish play, which you love to see. Jordan Clarkson here. Let's see. He's curling around the screen. Going inside. And the alley-oop to Hassan. Nice play. That looks like a designed play. Look. This honestly is a designed play. Because look. Watch. He is coming from... He's setting the screen. So this is obviously a designed play where he's going to come around the screen here to set up a pick and roll with Hassan. And he does it perfectly. Fantastic stuff from Jordan Clarkson there. And then finally, pick and roll with Rudy Gobert. Gobert rolls. Clarkson enters. Gives the nice dump off to Rudy. Easy buckets. That is fantastic stuff. Those are 5 high-level assists. Those are not like Joe Ingles assists right now where it's just like, you know, playing within the offense and being too tired to drive to the rim. Let's see. Robert Hall, 199. What's the scoop on Donovan? Donovan is out 2 games with sore lower back. And so he didn't actually join the team for the road trip to just rest his back. And he looked like he's been laboring for maybe a week or 2. And so I personally am pro resting Donovan. Yeah, Mountain Hobbler, it's bad. He is filling up that jersey. You know, the belly is catching in the belt buckle for Joe Ingles right now. We all of us guys know how that feels when, you know, when you're like walking and that belly is over the belt buckle and it just catches and it's just, you know, you got hair that catches in it and it's just not fun. It's just not. And, you know, you skinny guys, you don't know what the deal is. Like, you know, when I sit here and the man boobs are at rest, it's like, you know, it's hard. You jiggle. And Joe Ingles, you know, it gives new meaning to Jinglin' Joe. You know, when the man boobs are jingling, it's another type of Jinglin' Joe. All right, and those are the things that are kind of going on right now. It's a shame. And you know what? Let's just talk about it a little bit. There are the rumors out there that Joe Ingles is Jiggling Joe. Yes. But yes, there's the rumors out there that Jiggling Joe is on the market. And Austin R. Grant made it a live session to talk about Jiggling Joe with us. Anyways, the rumors are out there. And by the way, is it any sort of surprise that Danny Ainge is on the Jazz and immediately there are trade rumors? Like, you know why I'm kind of excited about Danny Ainge? We've talked about this before. 1, that he's willing to make the move you need to make. And 2, he will correctly assess the assets the Jazz have that they have not done the last couple of years. But 3, I get things to talk about, things to be excited about. They're going to talk about Jazz trades. And I personally love it. I love hearing trade rumors. And you know what? This Jazz team needs little trade rumor stuff. The The just sit back on your heels and jiggling Joe on the perimeter, just watching guys go to the rim and then blaming other guys, that ain't gonna fly anymore. If you have someone like Danny Ainge and you know that you can get traded, sometimes you change your attitude. One thing I had heard a few years ago from someone who has some sources is there was a point like 2 years ago, I think it was like 2020, 2019, the Jazz were supposed to be playing better. It was with Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert. If you have those three guys on your team, you should be winning a lot of games. That, hands down. I don't care who else is on the team. If you have a core of Donovan Mitchell, Mike Conley, Rudy Gobert as your three best players, you better be winning a lot of games. It doesn't matter who's coaching. As long as your role players are average to above average NBA role players, you should be winning games. And the Jazz were struggling. And the Jazz front office came into the locker room and said, if you don't turn it around, we're going to trade your ass. And that's what some of them said. And things changed. You know? Consequences to your action. I'm getting all surly tonight, just saying whatever on the chat or in this show. But anyways, that type of consequence and knowing that, hey, I better pick it up or I can be moved, you know, even if it's just for salary space, because we're not here to just like pay out contracts to everyone and make everyone multimillionaires. We're here to win basketball games and get to the championship, right? That's the goal, right? Isn't that what Jazz fans want? That's what I want. So if you've got someone that's not playing defense, guess what? You make like $12 million a year, Joe Ingles, Jiggling Joe. You make $12 million a year. And guess what? You're an expiring contract. And back in the day, you know, the Jazz might have kept him on the team because they know that he'll put butts in seats and get some guys, some, you know, fans in the stands during the playoffs. And Greg Miller can make enough money to go buy another auction sports car. Stupid Greg Miller. By the way, Twitter's not quite the same if Greg Miller's not sending DMs to the SLC Dunk threatening us. Bye, Greg. I do not miss seeing you on the sidelines. I'll just say that. Goodbye. You're gone. You got fired by your mom. Bye. Anyways, oh, that feels so sweet. Can we just revel in that? Hey, Greg, you're gone. You don't own the Jazz. You can't. You got fired by your mom, Game of Thrones style. Goodbye, Greg Miller. The dirty bloggers outlasted you. Did you ever think that Amar and Michael and James and all of us guys outlasted you? What a shame. SLC Dunk for life, baby. I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, anyways, guess what, Joe? At this point, you are an expiring contract worth like $12 million. So you better play defense, because you know what's really nice? $12 million falling off someone else's salary cap who might be near the tax threshold, especially teams that might be looking to tank, aka the Houston Rockets, right? The Houston Rockets have $40 million to John Wall and like $20 million to Eric Gordon. You know what? Eric Gordon's making that for like 3 years. Same with John Wall. So if Joe Ingles doesn't pick up his defense, he still has value as just $12 million that falls off for someone like the Rockets, who may want to clear space to bring on bad contracts and things like that to get picks. It's the Presti model. So Joe needs to pick it up and stop this not playing defense stuff. You've got to. And I know he came into camp jiggling and overweight, jiggling Joe. But you've got to play better. You just have to. And I get it. I love Joe Ingles. I love what he brings to the team. I love everything he's been for the Jazz. He's fantastic. One of my favorite players. And honestly, do I want to see him traded? No. But I also would like to see the Jazz win a title. And if he's not going to if he's just kind of washed, it's tough to see. It's tough to watch, you know? And if you can give someone $12 million of expiring and a first round pick, and that brings you a guy that gets the Jazz a title, whew, it's worth it. You got to be like Thanos sometimes and say, what did it take? What did it cost? Everything. The one we loved the most. Drop into chasm of nothingness. And I get it. We're talking about real people here, real lives, families, and everything. But guess what? This is the NBA. It's the NBA. It's a business. And guess what? I'm saying guess what a lot. Guess what? I'm going to try not to say guess what as much. But guess what? You don't bring Danny Ainge in unless you aren't willing to have like trades and moves happen, right? Oh, by the way, Joe would still get his ring. Exactly, Mountain Hobbler. Exactly. If the Jazz win the title this year, I assure you, they are inviting Joe Ingles to be at that ceremony. They'll do it when Joe Ingles is in town, if he's still playing, or he could just retire. But they are bringing him in. He's Jazz for life, right? Is there no one who's going to love Joe Ingles forever on the? Obviously, all Jazz fans are going to love Joe for life. 100%. So, anyways, he'll get his ring. He'll get his ring. But, anyways, my guess is Ryan Smith is not bringing Danny Ainge in just for fun. You know? You don't bring in a guy like that if you don't want someone that's willing and able to make the moves that you want to make. It would be really fun to sit down with some truth serum with Ryan Smith and find out who he likes and what type of moves he would want to do with the Jazz, you know? So that's what I think. And this game was never in question. And by the way, this is what I wanted to end on. This drives me nuts. And did I mention this already? Maybe I already did. I could be repeating on myself. Maybe I'm losing my fastball here. Why? Why? Why are we giving these 17, 18 minutes to Trent Forrest? Why? Why? He's a two-way contract guy. And there are things that I like about Trent Forrest. This is not to rag on Trent Forrest. But this guy right here should get maybe more against a Blazers team that had no chance to beat the Jazz than 50 seconds in garbage time. This is annoying. At the beginning of the season, Justin Zanuck said, I have 100% faith and belief that Quinn Snyder will develop this guy. He said that. 100%. And it felt like saying, we believe you can develop this guy. Quinn doesn't care. Quinn really doesn't care. He gave up on that a while ago. He gave him a few minutes for 5 games and said, nope, we're not going to put this guy in because we want Trent Forrest to dribble the ball up and then pass it to Joe Ingles so he can run a play. That's what Quinn wants, apparently. Why? And even if you split these up, give 8 to him and 8 to him. But do we not want to develop this rookie who we obviously really liked? And all the news out of camp was that he was good. You know, it wasn't Donovan Mitchell level camp news, but Andy Larson was talking about all the things he heard from guys he trusts in camp. And this is paraphrasing what he said, but more or less that he looks really good. And we saw it in preseason and camp. Why is he now unplayable over Trent Forrest? And what's stupid, and people can say what they want in the comments and reply on Twitter, neither Trent Forrest or Jared Butler is going to play in the playoffs. Not a single minute, unless it's in garbage time. Not a single important minute in the playoffs are either of these two guys going to play. So what is the point of not developing him, especially in games like this where teams are crippled by COVID and injuries? Why? It doesn't make sense, and it's kind of getting annoying. It's getting irritating. There is no reason why Trent Forrest should be playing over Jared Butler in these situations. And if he plays really, really poorly, just pull him. But I'm sorry. This guy was allowed to shoot the ball a lot at the first part of the year, and it cost the Jazz multiple games. And here's belief. Quinn Snyder believed in him. And so now the Jazz are reaping the benefits of giving Jordan Clarkson a chance to improve. And guess what? We just talked about it with the assists. He's improved immensely. He evolved. Guess what? Just a bet but maybe the guy who's done nothing but win national championships and develop and grow and overcome personal obstacles his entire life might be able to improve on an NBA court. Just my guess. If the Jazz had invented in Jared Butler like Bitcoin and it goes up in value, then you reap the benefits. Otherwise, you're like me who did not. And you watch other people who reap the Bitcoin benefits. All right? Trent Forrest is like investing in McDonald's stock. It's not doing much. You're just getting Big Macs. But if you invest in him when it's the right time at the beginning of the year, then you will reap the benefits later on. It's an investment. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Come on. Come on. I'm so sick of it. All right. That's my rant. This is so stupid that he's not getting minutes. It's dumb. And if you can't coach him up to be able to fit within the scheme at this point in the year, that's on you. That's called coaching. You are the coach. It shouldn't just be have Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert go off with their trainers and do the actual improvements that they do with Chris Brickley and other guys like that. And then you just get to put them in the system and reap the benefits of the front office's work. Do some actual coaching. Coach him. Do some coaching. Do it. Stop doing pregame meetings where you pick the freaking roster changes before the game even starts. Do some actual coaching on the floor during the game. Invest in Jared Butler coin. Austin R. Grant, I agree. Butler coins. I want Butler coins. Get me some Butler coins. Stop this nonsense. Stop it. I hate it. I really hate it. It's getting obnoxious. And if you can't coach this guy up, then you're not very good. We'll just be honest. You're not a development coach. Everyone who developed for other things. Was it Johnny Bryant who went to the Knicks? Right? Jasper Bibbs, who left as well, working with Zion Williamson? Was it them or you, Quinn? Who was it? Because it's starting to make me wonder a little bit if it was Johnny Bryant. All right? Figure it out. Figure it out. It's annoying. This shouldn't even be happening. This shouldn't be happening. Guys, it's annoying. It's annoying. There are situations where you can play this guy. Gosh, dang it. And he was lottery level talent by a lot. He's getting like ruined. Another player getting ruined by this nonsense garbage. It's driving me nuts. It's driving me nuts. And you know if Danny Ainge, Quinn better hope that Danny Ainge isn't a big time Jared Butler fan. Because if Danny Ainge is a big time Jared Butler fan, you weren't picked by Danny, Quinn. Let's see. Kenny, member for 11 months. Kenny, my man, you are awesome. While I don't fully agree, my dad said the worst thing to do for a rookie is ruin their confidence. Maybe there's something behind the scenes. Yeah. I mean, it could did it have to do with the fact that Butler was getting his contract figured out before the season started and it kept him from playing in Summer League? They talked about it not being ready, but I'm sure it was contract related. And there was probably behind the scenes stuff. And I know that Quinn's been petty in the past with stuff. We all do. Go read the Andy Larson article. Go read it. He's making certain decisions off of pettiness. Off of just pure pettiness. Why do the Jazz even make draft picks in the late first round? Why do we even use them? What's the point? What's the point? What's the point? Why would we draft in the late round? One, Dennis Lindsay screwed the franchise hardcore by drafting Udoka. And then two, we draft Jared Butler so that Quinn can play a two-way contract guy. And yet again, once again, the front office will have to trade or drop a guy either at trade deadline, or off season so that Quinn stops playing them to play the actual guy they want him to play at the detriment of depth. Something they've had to do in the past. Oh, there you go, Kenny. But guess what? Here's the sad thing, guys. Desmond Bane might have got ruined on the Jazz too. Who's to say Desmond Bane wouldn't even play? Because Quinn only believes in Jordan Clarkson. He does not believe in the Jazz rookies. So what's the point of drafting Desmond Bane? Quinn's not even going to play him. When would Desmond Bane even play? I guess maybe the Trent Forrest minutes, but he wouldn't be what he is now. Desmond Bane is absolutely flourishing right now. Absolutely flourishing and making the Memphis Grizzlies, like the Grizzlies are the number 4 seed right now, guys. And a major part of it is Desmond Bane. And we called it on this channel. I mean, you can go watch the draft video I did. I was on here for 3 hours, losing my mind. Unbelievable. So why do we even care? Quinn doesn't play him. He doesn't like developing rookies, or he's just not good at it. You know? Stop giving Quinn the credit for everything everyone else does. Johnny Bryant and the players. You know, I like Quinn. I think Quinn's a good X's and O coach, and I think he's a good relationship coach, although with the guys he likes. You know what I mean? But develop the rookies and stop using the stars as an excuse to develop them when it's just a way for him to be out of your hair. You know? God, that's what Ty Corbin did to Rudy Gobert. And by the way, Quinn doesn't play Rudy Gobert until Enes Kanter gets traded. Another thing the front office had to do. Should have been playing before that. We were having these conversations about Rudy 7 years ago. And people on Twitter who just worship whoever the coach is at the time and the Jazz front office will say, well, he's not proving it in practice. Rudy Gobert's not proving it in practice over Derek Favors and Enes Kanter. My guess was he was. You think maybe that Rudy Gobert was dominating in practice? Probably. Don't tell me the practice thing. I don't want to hear it. Because that's what people told me with Rudy Gobert. That's what, and his freedom. That's what they told me with Rudy Gobert. He didn't earn it in practice. My guess was he was doing just fine in practice. And guess what? Everyone should appreciate Rudy Gobert more. They shipped him on a freaking bus to Boise. That was before the Jazz had the Salt Lake City Stars in Salt Lake. His French behind was on a bus to Boise. That's how this team treated Rudy. We should be grateful forever for Rudy's dedication and loyalty. Forever to Rudy Gobert. Because we sat him on a bus and said he wasn't good enough to the G League, where he promptly put up 25-25 every night. He did fine in practice. Don't tell me about practice. We talk about practice? Come on. Get out of here. Zintis, $5. I know you were raving and you have a right to rant. Just breathe, James. I will. I had to get that out because it was bothering me. Tonight was ridiculous, guys. Tonight was a joke. That was so stupid. That should not have happened tonight. This should have been a night where you gave this other guy a chance. We should have given this guy a chance. And it's wasted. It's just wasted, guys. 15 minutes to guard Damian Lillard. You don't think that type of development wouldn't help out? You think having against a Portland team with a porous defense and allowing that guy to get a few buckets and grow some confidence, you don't think that would be beneficial? I do. I believe in Jared Butler. I know Quinn doesn't, but I do. So anyways, I'm annoyed. That was annoying tonight, and it shouldn't have happened. And it could have given Mike Conley even more rest. The Jazz at no point were in any sort of danger of losing this game. Zero danger. He should have got some minutes. That's it. That's my rant. Sorry, I haven't done that in a while. But That's what we do sometimes. All right. Let's give a shout out to our all-stars. Guys, if you haven't already, join the channel. And if you're new here, if you're watching right now, like and subscribe to the channel. Please do it. I'm trying to grow. Let's see. Let's give a shout out to Baby Elliot Manson. X marks the spot for Zintas. Jordan the Goat Best Roll. Ryan Perry the Legend. Joshua Hansen the Danish Destroyer. And one Anton Warren. Ezekiel Raisibe the Man from Down Under. JT Buckets Wardell. Austin R. Grant Editor Extraordinaire. Eric C. The C stands for Champion. Donald Schooley schooling all of us. DW to CB. Darren Williams to Carlos Boozer. Jorge Arizaga mi amigo de abajo. Lee Christensen driving lane. Justin Time Justin Ty H. Patrick Kakuba the Connoisseur. Robert Hall of Fame. And DW Jazz going all the way. Guys, I drove through Malad Pass tonight. It was crazy town. Drove from Idaho to Utah tonight to do this show. It's because I love it. I love you guys. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Subscribe. Tell your friends. Share the video. Guys, things are coming up that are really good. I just talked about Levon Panhurst. Bill Simmons said the Jazz are in the perfect situation, under the radar with a good record. Do you agree? I heard that. Do you agree Simmons is an East Coast biased stooge? How is his Celtics doing? All right, let's go into this, and then we'll end. But thank you, Levon. Under the radar, good record. Do you agree? I think so. I mean, in the general, the Jazz are pretty under the radar. You know, the Jazz just in general are like the Spurs or other teams that are really good or consistently good. They just kind of get taken for granted. Zach Lowe is, I like Zach Lowe, but it's annoying when he says things like, we're not going to talk about the Jazz because we know what the Jazz are. Well, great. Do we do that with every team or just the Jazz? Why is it just the Jazz that get treated like they're just the team that's taken for granted? And I agree. Quinn Snyder evolves and adjusts about as quickly as a piece of amber in the tree with a mosquito that turns into a dinosaur. But the Jazz deserve to be a little more talked about a little bit more. Do you agree Simmons is an East Coast bias stooge? Yes, 100%. He 100% is. And I think he might even say that. He would say that. I mean, he's Patriots and Celtics and you can go read Book of Basketball. He hates Karl Malone. He really hates him. And Karl Malone deserves a little bit of hate for the stuff, but we're not going to get into that. How is his Celtics doing? They suck. By the way, that's a team to watch. Jaylen Brown, if he's available, you got to think about something like that. There is some turmoil over there. It's really interesting. And even Simmons, who's, a Celtics guy, seems like he's starting to even talk about whether, Tatum and Brown can coexist and Tatum is not developing. I mean, that's one thing that people should be really excited about with Donovan Mitchell. And he talked about it in that podcast he was in and even tonight, but he improves every single year. From his rookie year on, he's just improved his numbers, his shooting, his playmaking, his assists are up, his steals are up. He just gets better. Jason Tatum seems to be just kind of flatlining in his development. So that's why you should just be excited about having Donovan Mitchell on the Jazz. He's a superstar. He just is. Anyways, I do like Bill Simmons. I actually listen to Bill Simmons all the time. Like, I listen to everything he does. Even though he, badmouths the Jazz a lot. But anyways, guys, I drove through a mountain pass. I commissioned an artist to start some more 8-bit stuff, and I think it's going to be really fun. I'm going to do that for the NBA channel. So if you aren't subscribed already, make sure that you subscribe to my NBA channel. I would really appreciate it. Anyways, guys, I will talk to you next time.